and welcome back to Professional Wrestling, the podcast with Timur Qureshi and Jonathan, the Chosen Lawyer. Timur, as promised, we're going to talk about a great gimmick in the world of WWE, the future, the present. Every time the music comes on, every time Kaiser says his name and does a speech, I get chills. Talk about the one and only, the ring general, as you called him, Gunther.
Gunther, or as previously known as Walter.
I don't get the Walter thing.
Yeah,
Gunther's great. Some people really love the
yeah.
Walter part and like they should bring him back as Walter. It ain't happening. Gunther
No, no,
is
it's not gonna
going
happen. Yeah.
fantastic. I didn't really like the Walter thing, to be honest. But when he became Gunther, I understood it. This is one of the rare examples. We talked about last week about how NXT, you come and you get killed. This is a guy who was doing well in NXT and took it up even a step. And I agree that the name was kind of weird and stale.
Yeah.
But where it sticks out in my mind, first of all, I don't remember her name, but the WWE ring announcer, the way she enunciates people's
Mhm.
names, she's incredible. She's on Raw and SmackDown now.
Samantha, I think.
I want to hear Samantha
Yeah.
every day announcing everything. I wish that I was at McDonald's and she was announcing my meals. I wish that when the lights change, I could hear her voice. She's like, like she's fantastic. I think she's an opera singer or something, but she clearly has the pipes for it. And when Kaiser did the intro at WrestleMania, blown away. This man is a star. He is a now. Triple H loves him. I love him. We all love him. I don't think Gunther could be stopped right now. I think the Gunther train has left the station. I'm so glad they put him on Raw. I think he needed the big platform, and he's going strong. I see no letdown right now. What do you think?
No, and this is it's a very, old school gimmick. Like I think going back, not even like kind of before, like you said, you were a fan starting from like the late 80s, early 90s. This is a gimmick naturally that even predates that, right? This is like a mid 70s type of era gimmick. And it's very hard to carry over that type of gimmick in modern wrestling. The fans get bored very soon for like someone like that. But this guy he has that, he has it, right? Um, the physical aspect of it obviously is there, right? Um, doesn't need to say a lot, right? He has the other two guys to speak, but even they don't speak that much, right? The whole team has that serious persona where, and part of their gimmick is that we take this as as a sacred sport. It's not entertainment for us; it's sport for us, right? Like I think what's the
The
catchphrase?
mat is
Even
sacred.
the mat is sacred. There you go, right?
Love it.
So and obviously like Gunther is going to be the primary focus of the discussion, but the other two guys, they're like they have the skill and the look as well, right? Like I can see a run where they have the tag belts and he has the world title, probably towards the end of the year, early next year for sure, right? Like I can see them having three belts um at one time.
You were reading my mind
Yeah.
because the whole talk about splitting up the belts, if you're going to tell me who most deserves it, who's got the look and where they should go, I mean, look, they are hovering between jobber and greatness. They
Mhm.
do win them out at times. They got to cheat because that's what heels do. They lose a little too much for my liking. But if you're ever bored, Timur, go look up Kaiser and go look up Kaiser's father. He was a
Mhm.
wrestler before him. He's a second or third generation. It might be a third generation, if I'm not mistaken. Kaiser comes from a wrestling pedigree. He looks the part.
Mhm.
He talks the part. He's amazing on the mic. He's an amazing wrestler. He's so underrated. Vinci's great. Those two were former NXT tag team champs. I agree with you fully. Let's get some gold on them. Having Imperium with full gold is the way to go because I think that it's going to lose a shine off of Walter slash Gunther if they become jobberish because they're beneath them. And I don't want to see the split up of Imperium. So I think
Mhm.
slowly, they need to continue to elevate their game. Don't make them jokey because really, if you think about when they first started wrestling, when they weren't just mouthpieces, they were losing all the time. They were
Mhm.
terrible. And then we started seeing them. The way Gunther got elevated at the Rumble, and I thought he should have won it. And it was so cheesy that Cody won, even though we knew he was going to win it. We have to do some kind of tag team tournament. We got to strip belts, something. And the way Imperium looked great before when they put him in these kind of tournaments, let them actually win the gold finally. No Gunther. They actually win it cleanly, and let's have a run. I think that will just elevate Imperium's game. I'm fully in agreement with you.
Yeah, they need that, and then um, with Gunther, I so he's on this I mean, obviously, right now, any title win is kind of second place to Roman Reigns. But this, had it not been for Roman Reigns' world title run, like this Intercontinental title run that he's been on, is almost like a historic. At least in the last 30 years, it's like a historic run, right? I think I don't know how
He's
many
about
days
to
this guy's
overtake
on.
the Honky Tonk Man
Yeah,
as
yeah,
the
yeah,
greatest
exactly.
Intercontinental Champion
Right,
of all
right,
time.
right.
But as far as actual in modern day era, the only guy who comes close is the
Macho
Macho Man.
Man.
Like
Yeah,
Honky
yeah,
Tonk Man was a joke. Honky Tonk Man
yeah,
was great. You loved him and hate him, but he was always lucky.
yeah.
Macho Man was a solid Intercontinental Champion. That's the guy who he's really overtaken. I see no reason to drop the belts anytime soon. The only reason you're going to drop the belt is to get the heavyweight belt. And maybe you don't even get him to drop the belt. He wins the heavyweight belt. He let goes of the Intercontinental belt and he just vacates it. Whatever you
Vacates.
got to
Yeah.
do. But there's no reason. I mean, he's a heel, but he wins cleanly.
Hmm.
He's great from his entrance music to when he walks out to his actual performance out there. I don't know many wrestlers right now in any wrestling federation that can touch Gunther as a pure wrestler. Like he's just great to watch out there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think there's anyone around in the current era that matches. But obviously, like you being a student of history, who would you compare him to from back in the day?
I mean, look, it's funny because I was such a diehard wrestling fan. I used to watch wrestling programs I was able to find. Whereas wrestling all over the world, I was watching in the '80s wrestling in Puerto Rico, Mexico. In Asia. I was studying all that stuff. I had wrestling encyclopedias. I was reading wrestling books from the '70s. Funny enough that you bring it up is a recent wrestling death was superstar Billy Graham.
Graham, rest in peace today. Yes. Yeah.
So at the time of taping, superstar Billy Graham has passed away.
Mhm.
And if you talk about as far as the effect and Jesse the Body Ventura, Hulk Hogan do not have careers enough for superstar Billy Graham, and he had copied Gorgeous George, but that type of era, he has that kind of presence when he walks out. He commands respect when he talks. You look at him and his wrestling. That's superstar Billy Graham. I'm going to tell you, like totally different wrestlers, but as far as the presence go, and he is. I mean, look, let's not lie. The fact that Triple H likes him helps a
Mhm.
lot, but
Mhm.
he's earned it, and I think that Rumble performance will always be looked at. And he's 35 years old. I say next 5 years, no kidding, he's going strong. There's no reason to break that. Do not make him a baby face. Do
Mhm.
not break up Imperium. If anything, bring back the fourth guy from Imperium, whatever you got to do,
Yeah, yeah.
but make it strong. He needs to run WWE.
What do you see? I think there's some kind of rumblings coming up where he's gonna either him or Braun Breaker. I don't know how they're gonna. I hope they bring him up with his actual name and they bring him to the main roster. But they see those two guys as being the ones to have the retirement match for Brock. But I would go with Gunther for that one.
Braun Breaker, the problem. Okay, I like Braun Breaker. Don't get me wrong. I like Braun Breaker. I think they've messed up on a lot of levels with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that first of all, the Steiner name should have been there. I mean, you put them in the Hall of Fame. We've acknowledged this. Call him a Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
You close your eyes, you hear Scott Steiner talking. They sound the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
But his wrestling needs work. Fine, granted. You could put him with a manager. He should have a Paul Heyman. I would have him come out, maybe be Roman's freaking bodyguard now, maybe against Solo, do something like that. But we need to bring him along slowly. We need a mouthpiece for him. Lord knows when he talks, I cringe sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to work on it. He talk less, makes him more effective, makes him look stronger. Put almost as his bodyguard, whatever you got to do. Maybe he needs a bodyguard, but it's something we got to do to bring it along. And it's just they're trying to do too much too soon. Having these colors, having the
Mm-hmm.
NXT 2.0 colors makes him look like a joke. I don't know now. Now he's there, but he doesn't really want the belt anymore. I think they messed up the whole heel run with him. It's not convincing enough. Like they at the end of the day, he is gonna be there, but they got to bring him along for a while. I think we need to seriously injure him. Maybe Bronson Reed Typhoon. That's my solution for everything. But Tsunami, get him there, come back more ferocious. And you know what? Bring Scott Steiner. You know what? Let's do that. Scott Steiner, bring his uncle, Big Daddy Pump. Let's get him talking and then bring back the Steiner name. I don't know who the hell Braun Breaker is. Doing that, I think will elevate his game. But right now, if we're gonna have a last match, as far as respect goes, let's not make it a joke. Let's not make it, like the Kurt Angle retirement match.
Mm-hmm.
Let's with Corbin. Let's make it proper. It's got to be Gunther against Lesnar to retire. 1,000%. I'm there. I'm just always worried in the back of my mind. Austin Theory and Gunther are kind of sitting in this mid to top area.
Hmm.
Both of them should be elevated to the top. I think Theory is going to head to the land of the Miz and Dolph Ziggler in the future, unfortunately. But hopefully he will get the whole goal because I love him on the mic and I think
Hmm.
he's going to get there. I think Gunther's already there. Gunther is already a step above where Austin Theory is at. And he's your future heavyweight champion. I think it's a travesty that he didn't fight for it, but everything should be put behind Gunther right now. He's my vote for top WWE guy, future now, the end. Nobody else is touching him. Period.
Well, I think the only reason they didn't have him win this new belt is because they don't want two heel champions, right? On the two heel world champions, right? I think
That's
that's
just
it. That
crazy talk.
yeah, yeah. But like just and just I think this is kind of like we touched on a couple of weeks ago, right? It's like a consolation prize for Seth Rollins for everything he's done for the last couple of years, right? So they're just gonna have let him kind of it's like throw the guy a cookie, kind of,
But
right?
let's throw a
Yeah.
third variable into there, Timur. Think about how much of a joke the Intercontinental Belt was becoming.
Hmm.
Gunther
Hmm.
has brought back the sacred
Yeah, yeah,
Intercontinental
yeah,
Championship.
yeah,
You look at the guys behind me,
yeah,
okay? Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Macho Man, I believe Shawn Michaels.
yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, each of those guys at some point held the Intercontinental Belt.
yeah,
But when
yeah,
they held
yeah,
the Intercontinental Belt, that had a lot of prestige. That was
yeah.
1A, 1B with the Heavyweight Championship. I think
Yes.
he's brought back a lot of respectability to the Intercontinental Belt. And bringing it to Raw, it makes a lot of interest and having to hold on to it. They got to beat the Honky Tonk Man. So if I had to say why he has not won the heavyweight championship, because he would have been my guy to do it for sure, it's because of that. And you know what? There's no shame in it whatsoever. I think he's doing great, and I think he's gonna be paid like one of the greats if he's not. And it's just a question of where they're gonna go with it. If we're gonna have Kaiser and Vinci as far as being serious tag teams now, I feel like we need another manager. I just feel like we need to, I know Kaiser's doing a good job, but he's not the
Yeah.
manager. Let Kaiser focus on wrestling, and let's bring a Kaiserish type guy to be the manager.
Oh, who would that be? Can't think of anyone on
I
top of
don't
my
know
head.
if we have them right now.
I don't think they
We
have
got
anyone
gotta
that
have a strong
fits with
Europe.
them.
Gotta have a strong European. Maybe Mr. Stone can learn a European accent.
Mr. Stone is too comedic though for these guys. I think you need, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm trying to think now. Who could, yeah, if William Regal was still in WWE, I think he's back in
He's
WWE now.
back.
Oh, he is
Oh,
back.
there
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go.
There we go. Yeah,
William Regal
yeah,
as
yeah,
the manager for Imperium and the
yeah,
Sacred Mat, and he has that
yeah. He
smirk
has
and
yeah,
besmirch,
yeah, yeah.
besmirching the mat. There we
The
go. We got
besmirch, yeah,
you solved it. William
yeah.
Regal,
William Regal.
manage
Yeah,
Imperium.
yeah,
He's gonna help them win the tag belts. I'm good with that.
yeah.
Timur, you're a genius.
Yeah, there we go. No, I think he's been back for a few months, but he had part of him getting let go from AEW was that he couldn't appear on TV for a certain number of months. But I think we're almost at that deadline now.
Isn't his son the guy in NXT? Charlie something? Isn't he?
Charlie Dempsey or something? Yeah,
Charlie
Dempsey.
Dempsey.
Yeah, yeah.
You can tell
So
that
yeah,
the look he
yeah,
gives.
yeah. That
All
look. Yeah, yeah,
I don't get that, and he's kind of fooling around with Drew Gulak right now.
yeah.
But Charlie Dempsey, look, you can see like he's got wrestling in his blood,
Yeah.
and man, Regal is a credit to wrestling and what the man has contributed. He's a Hall of Famer 10 times over. I like it. I like it
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I
You've
think that
done
would
it.
be a good fit. Yeah.
You've done it, my friend.
Well,
Wonderful. Well, we've solved
yeah,
some problems for WWE. We've elevated some people. We fixed Imperium. Last week, we helped fix some jobbers.
yeah,
Timur, I appreciate very much. The wrestling fans appreciate your sharing your
yeah,
wisdom in WWE. And I let everybody know, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The notification bell for Professional Wrestling, the podcast, launches every Saturday. Send in your comments. You love us, you hate us. What do you think as far as what we talked about today? And we'll see you all soon on Professional Wrestling, the podcast.